Yeah, we do have other products that integrate checkpointing technology where we have dozens of customers.
Okay.
But for the memory machine AI, it's starting in February.
Okay.
And because we don't have a live customer yet, I invited industry expert Steve Yatko here to join me. I think we were a little slower than expected, so it's going to be we have about 7 minutes, so we'll have a quick 7 minute conversation. I think Steve is on Zoom here. Maybe to start, Steve, if you introduce yourself, your current role as well as your past experiences.
Yeah, thanks, Charles, and pleasure to be here with everybody. I'm sorry it'll be a little quick, but that's okay. We'll cut to the chase. Yeah, my name is Steve Yatko. I've got 30 years of experience, a little bit more than 30 years experience, heavily focusing on Wall Street. I was for 15 years of that. I spent my life at Credit Suisse, where half of that was as CTO of the investment bank and building all of their low latency trading systems, a lot of the enterprise HPC. So it's nice to see it all come back and in a form of like a renaissance here to be a partner in the AI world. But I was in charge of all the low latency trading and analytics at a global level. Then for my second half of my career there, I ran innovation for all the Credit Suisse group. So I owned the visions for applications and infrastructure. And I owned all the labs to put it all together and test it out and work with all the emerging technology from the startups to the large IT suppliers. And my last 15 years, I've been very focused on a very boutique advisory practice where I continue to advise some of the largest financial institutions in the planet. As you would suspect, many of them are on this journey with AI. It's been quite an interesting journey so far, and certainly have a long way to go. And happy to have some of that part of that conversation today in this chat. But I also work in other industries such as the third largest transportation agency in the U.S. And the largest architecture and design firm in the U.S. And very much all of it's focused on very advanced IoT to field level AI on the edge to core data center training and inferencing, specializing in most cases around how do they make good use of generative AI and how do they deliver truly enterprise class systems of intelligence using generative AI. So I'll leave that introduction there, Charles, because I know we're very limited and I want you to have all the time you need to kind of ask questions.
Yeah, sure. So as you advise some of the largest enterprises regarding their AI initiatives, what are some of the challenges you notice as they stand up their AI infrastructure?
Yeah, well, I mean, it really depends on where they are in their journey, right? It's while AI's been around for a little while on the street, it's been more of that traditional data scientist AI. But really, the generative AI has taken, pretty much the industry by surprise a couple of years ago. Very unprepared for kind of this journey that they were going to be going on. And I think I heard you say earlier, most of this is being driven by, CEOs to the heads of technology and partnership. And I think that's very exciting for all of us. This is very reminiscent of how the world of trading systems got built. We moved from a very legacy of very manual environments. And it was only through the sponsorship of the business working in true partnership with technology to really build something as disruptive as trading systems were. And I feel that this is a whole other world of, and that's why I called it a renaissance. I really believe it is. It's a very exciting phase for Wall Street to embark on this journey. So it's everything from what is generative AI, the basic level stuff, to now what are the right use cases, what are the ones most effective for the business in terms of driving real P&L and revenue. Others in terms of where it creates better customer stickiness and attraction. And then some of the more complex things around data that's very confidential and private, such as HR and planning career pathways, all the way to the most simple things like hey, how do you get better development productivity, or how do you get better documentation available? So it's a wide range, and I think you've highlighted one of the most important things in my view that's strategic around the journey, where it will take them in similar challenge, no matter what part of the world they're trying to solve and use case, is truly the manageability of the application workload
Mhm.
and the utilization of that fabric. And for me, also, it's very reminiscent. We spun out Dynamic Ops from Credit Suisse, and the time we built our own virtual environment management
Mhm.
framework that ultimately spun out and VMware acquired, and it became the core of their cloud engine, vCenter. Our lead developer became the CTO cloud for VMware,
Mhm.
was very successful. The whole point of us doing that was we saw great value in the virtualization technology. You talk about the MIG, it's great virtualization technology that is there.
Hey,
But
Steve.
yes,
Um, yeah, most of the financial services companies I've worked with in the past have been fairly free with their money with respect to infrastructure. As far as they could, they would buy whatever they could to get to the advantage that they need for, low latency trading or whatever. I mean, to the effect of building data centers closer to where the trading happens and doing fiber optics between them and stuff like that. Why do you think something like MemVerge has a place in the financial services?
it's really easy, based on everything you just heard the team talk to you about. It's a super impressive technology platform they're building, and it's right in that sweet spot of what I was describing we did in virtualization. I mean, it's one thing to have virtualization on the hardware, but the value is to extract that and allow applications to seamlessly leverage it, to mobilize development and testing, to have the ability to rent and share and lease and put things on ice when you're not, needing them at that moment. And most importantly, to showcase, how to actually drive that utilization up very dynamically without manual intervention. And, just people build environments that were virtual and they would leave the firm and no one knew about this virtualization sprawl. So the manageability of job scheduling, the manageability on the orchestration, and then all the economics that can be driven from those insights and that mobilization of resources is hypercritical. So yeah, they used to, certainly they have budgets to go buy what they need to drive revenue, but that's not the old world of, hey, we're just going to buy everything and just throw money at the problem. It doesn't work that way anymore on Wall Street.
Yeah.
So they're very practical. This is a solution that MemVerge has that's highly differentiated. It allows firms to, in the future, build their own internal spot markets, where departments have, or development and test environments that are shared, or just the department has productivity, production arrays that have been, put in place for, spike workloads, but they have no way to give that back up to anyone else who might want to share it elsewhere in the firm. So their ability to, checkpoint and restore, I mean, literally, it changes the game on your firm's ability to just drive up broad usage and shareability and prioritization, so that if I do loan out for a dev test environment on my production environment, when I need that resource, I can use the MemVerge technology to checkpoint that down into their storage and then resume it on a different node, or just maybe there's no nodes available and it gets paused until that comes up. So that's very differentiating. I've been looking in this space in general for a long time, because it is a problem that firms are needing to solve for. They know from the history of what didn't work and why it's valuable. Run.ai it doesn't even have a portion of capabilities that the MemVerge team has and where they're going. But the point was, it's now locked up as an NVIDIA only. People need multi-cloud, they need hybrid cloud, they need multi-GPUs for inferencing versus training. There's so much more innovation that's going to come out of this. Small language models are going to be there, hyper-tuned models that are very domain specific. Like, they're going to run differently on different types of processors, and MemVerge will be prepared to support any organization that basically needs hybrid environments across the things I just described. and give you complete visibility and transparency and versus some opaque or manual environment. So it's very exciting to see what they're building, and the value is going to be hypercritical for no matter where the firm is on the journey, they're going to land in the same place.
Thank you very much, Steve. I think we're a little over our time. So maybe I think Steve said it more than we could. This is not only a cost-saving solution, but is a productivity booster, and it helps bridge the silos between the departments and really allow the full utilization of the resources and unlock all the productivity from across all the teams.
Firms will not be able to afford inferencing
Right.
on the data without a MemVerge capability. I mean, that's really what this will come down to. This is the only way they'll be able to afford to do it at a national or global level on their application of AI. So thanks for having me. I'm sorry we were a little short, but I really enjoyed the conversation and listening to everything you guys are building, Charles, and congratulations to your team, and thank you again to everybody for having me.
Thank you, Steve.
Bye-bye.
All right. So just to wrap up, thank you for spending the afternoon with us. As we went over, we are introducing sort of a sandwich middle layer that is the what we call AI infra automation software layer that serves as a good bridge between the workloads and the new GPU-centric infrastructure. And the memory machine AI will automate the deployment of workloads. And we are starting this pioneer program in February. Contact us to sign up. And we believe 2025 will be a milestone year for enterprise AI. And we want to do what we can to help the enterprises to give AI wings. Thank you.